What's going on, guys? Styx here with the Token Minorities, bringing you the Team Builder for Week 6 of Season 6 of the CPC, and this week we are up against A12 and his Arkham City Delibirds. And before I get into the team, just a reminder that if you guys liked this video or found it helpful, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton and lets us do more cool stuff for you guys. And also, if you have not done so already, please feel free to check out the TTM Discord. It will be linked in the description, where we do have channels for not only the 3 Draft League teams that we have on this channel, myself, Jolt, and his Toronto Staraptors, and then, of course, Crobat for the win, and his Los Angeles Nido Kings. We also have channels for the TCG and Smogon, so if any of that interests you, please feel free to check that out. But anyway, on to the team. Like I said, up against A12 and his Arkham City Delibirds this week, and his team is composed of Jirachi, Hoopa Unbound, Darmanitan, Mega Altaria, Noivern, Cofagrigus, Diggersby, Avalugg, Xatu, Electivire, and Gothitelle. Now, I will say that this week was actually a little bit annoying because with a bunch of travel that I had this past weekend, I had to prep in advance, like get everything together, make the team, test it out, and I was all good to go. And then on Sunday afternoon, literally right before the deadline, he was like, "Oh, hey, I made these changes to my team," and I was like, "You have got to be kidding me." So, luckily for me, the changes that he wow, I is good at English. Changes that he made were stuff that my team is actually already surprisingly prepped for. So I changed a couple things here and there, but it really was not a huge deal overall. Looking at his team, I mean, obvious threats are obvious. I mean, A12, first of all, the fact that he has Diggersby, so I mean, it's GG right there. But he has probably one of, well, not probably, definitely one of the hardest Pokemon to switch into in the entire format in Hoopa Unbound, because it easily can go special, can easily be physical, can also be scarfed. I mean, it can be, actually it can't be Z-Snatch in this situation because it's not his Z-Mons. Oh yeah, by the way, his Z-Mons are Noivern and Electivire. I forgot to say that a little bit earlier, unless I didn't. I don't know. I'm losing my mind, but you guys all know this. Hoopa Unbound can hit hard on the physical and special side, so you really don't know what set it is going to be until you scout it, and if you guess wrong initially, you're kind of screwed. Darmanitan, which while it's a physical hitter and you know it's going to hit physically, Darmanitan just breaks stuff. And then Diggersby, also physical as well in terms of breaking. Then for speed, he has Noivern, which is annoying, but my team handles that pretty well, so I'm not overly worried about it. And then Gothitelle, not speedy, but trapping, which actually every single mon on my team save Necrozma has ways out of that situation, so I'm not too worried about that. And then Jirachi, which is just annoying, but my team deals with that pretty well. That being said, I am noticing that he has a lot of trouble with speed, as his fastest mon is the Noivern, but beyond the Noivern, it's the Jirachi. So there's a huge speed gap there that I can really take advantage of. And Noivern, really, I'm not expecting to come against me, and even if it does, I'm not expecting it to be Scarf, because if it's Scarf, both my Swampert and my Necrozma, which is going to be my bulk this week, spoilers, will be able to take that on very easily with either Protect from Swampert and Moonlight from Necrozma. So not overly worried about his team, and he does have a little bit of issues with speed, which I am going to try to exploit the absolute crap out of. But that being said, he has some very hard hitters that, if I do not prep appropriately for them, will completely run through my team. So first things first, we do have the Tapu Koko, and once again I am bringing a Choice Scarf Tapu Koko with U-Turn, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, and Dazzling Gleam. Just covers his team nicely. Got the dual momentum for whatever he wants to bring. Like if he brings Diggersby or Electivire, then I can just U-turn freely. Thunderbolt just hits harder in a situation where Diggersby or Electivire either are not there or it did go down. And then Dazzling Gleam provides the Fairy Stab, and I would run like a Hidden Power for the Electivire or the Diggersby, but Dazzling Gleam hits just as hard, so it's really not worth it to try to run a Hidden Power. Just run Thunderbolt in case, for whatever reason, I need that extra power. Really, just the only 3 moves I'm thinking I'll need are U-Turn, Volt Switch, and Dazzling Gleam for this game. As for the EV spread, I outspeed with this Scarf. 346 speed allows me to outspeed +2 Adamant, Altaria, and Diggersby. Granted, Jolly can outspeed me, but with Diggersby, if it's agility, I'm not thinking that it is going to be Jolly. I'm thinking that it will want to be Adamant to, in general, outspeed everything, but also hit very hard, because otherwise Necrozma and Swampert deal with that very well. The attack is to guaranteed Oko 60 HP Hoopa Unbound with a U-turn because I am modest, so I had to run a little bit more. And I mean, I'm not expecting that much HP in Hoopa. It was just kind of I threw a number into Hoopa's HP that I thought there's no way that he would try to hit, and I was just figured that it was okay to throw that into attack. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to make that big of a deal, I don't think, but better safe than sorry. Next up, we do have another Choice Scarfer. I'm only bringing 2 Choice Scarfers this week, so unfortunately not going to bring the 5 Choice Scarf Dream, but this one is a modest Choice Scarf Gengar with Sledge Wave, Shadow Ball, Energy Ball, and Dazzling Gleam. Really just dual stab, destroys his team. I initially had Focus Blast over Energy Ball, but I decided that I really just wanted a consistent way to hit Diggersby, as I forgot who it was. I think it was Mega Oshawott, my mock partner, brought, actually it was Mega Oshawott because, yeah, anyway, he brought an Assault Vest Diggersby, which was very, very annoying to try to deal with, as I really didn't want to risk Focus Blast at any point. I always had a better switch in, so Energy Ball, while it does miss out on some of the damage, really I didn't need Focus Blast for anything besides the Diggersby, and Diggersby, if it's Assault Vest, will get worn down by hazards and U-turn, yada yada yada, so just being able to always hit that thing hard is going to be definitely helpful. And then Dazzling Gleam, just obligatory coverage for the Hoopa, and really just dual stab, I think, is all that I'm necessarily going to need in this game. The speed, well, the investment, just modest max attack, or max special attack to hit as hard as possible. Speed, guaranteed outspeeds Adamant, or Choice Scarf Durmanitan. Jirachi, if it comes, not thinking it's going to be Choice Scarfed, I'm thinking it has to be bulky to try to deal with my stuff. So, I mean, even if it is Scarfrachi, then I deal with that very, very well with the Mons on my team, although the flinch down is always a possibility. But regardless, I thought that, you know what, that's acceptable in order to get Gengar to hit a little bit harder. Next up, we have a Hoopa Unbound lure of sorts in Cobra Berry Necrozma with knockoff X-Scissor, Photon Geyser, and Moonblast, and this thing really has no other purpose on this team except to be fat, knock off items, and potentially lure in Hoopa. I know that those are actually quite a few roles, but with Necrozma, I'm going to be clicking knockoff, and if I'm not going to be clicking knockoff, I'm clicking Moonlight, and the only other situations that I would potentially be in is if I had already knocked off something and hit that with Photon Geyser. And then I'm hoping that what happens with this Necrozma is he will try to, if I'm able to knock something out with a knockoff or a Photon Geysers, he'll try to bring in Hoopa safely on it, or even just I switch Necrozma into a U-turn, he tries to bring in Hoopa, then I will be able to catch that thing with an X-Scissor after my Cobra Berry allows me to live every possible hit from Hoopa and take that thing down. I mean, Necrozma, if I can trade it for Hoopa, I will take that every single day of the week. The investment is just, really, I couldn't get anything like guaranteed, but what I did do was give myself like a, I think it was a 2.3% chance to be OHKO'd by Modest Altaria's Hyper Voice. So like I have a 97.7% chance to avoid that OHKO, and then I have a 95.4% chance to avoid a 2-hit KO from Adamant Return after Rocks. So I mean, I couldn't get anything guaranteed, but this was just a way to be like, okay, I'm just gonna be able to take those hits, hopefully as well as possible. I mean, there's always a chance that both of those happen, or either of those happens and I get knocked out, but I couldn't get anything guaranteed, so I just tried to maximize the odds of me living any potential situation. Next up, we do have a defensive Swampert, and this is my Altaria check. This is my initial Altaria switch-in with leftovers, Stealth Rock, Protect, Roar, and Scald. Stealth Rock and Scald just kind of obligatory, able to spam against him. And then Protect, be able to scout out moves, particularly like on, quite frankly, 5... Let me count how many of his Mons could realistically be Choice Scarfed. There's Jirachi, there's Hoopa, Durmanitan, Noivern, Diggersby, Xatu not so much, but Electivire, Gothitelle, all of those could realistically be Choice Scarfed. Then Protect gives me the ability to scout out, also get a little bit of leftovers just in those situations. Then I'm opting for Roar over something like Toxic, because one thing that could potentially beat me is an Altaria with mono Fairy Stab, like mono Return, and then Dragon Dance, Roost, and either Facade or, well, Dragon Dance, Roost, Facade, and then Coverage Move, or Dragon Dance, Roost, Refresh, and Return. Those are something that can set up all over Swampert if I just have Toxic as my way of dealing with it. And so being able to just have a way of being like, no, you're not staying in, you're not setting up on my Swampert, also allows me, well, I mean, just keeps me from being set up on and lets my team deal with it as best as possible. The EVs are enough to avoid a 2-hit KO from Modest Altaria's Hyper Voice after Rocks, and then the defense allows me to avoid the 2-hit KO from Adamant Return. So just a very, very nice balance. Gets the guarantees that Necrozma was not quite able to get in, well, really in just the investment. Swampert's just like, yeah, I got you. Next up, we have my initial Hoopa switch-in. Now, that is something that is very... That's something that not a lot of Mons can claim, but this Incineroar switches into every Hoopa set, only once though. I mean, if he pulls a hard read and goes for a double Focus Blast, then obviously I can't stay in and I can't switch in and take a hit, but really just that, just a Focus Blast is the only thing Hoopa can go for as I switch in Incineroar to take me out. This Incineroar comes in, takes whatever hit Hoopa wants to go for, and then can even take another hit as I use my Chople Berry, and then U-turn out to knock it out, and also Knockoff Spam and Flare Blitz do very, very well against this team. And Incineroar's only purpose is Hoopa in this game. If Hoopa is not brought, then I'm just going to spam Knockoff, get Intimidates off, etc., etc. Ironhead is for the Altaria, so that thing does not try to use me as setup fodder additionally. The EVs just hit as hard as possible while also being fat in HP. Really couldn't think of anything that I necessarily wanted to live. I could go Spadef in order to live 2 Focus Blasts, but in that situation, well, first of all, I wouldn't be able to live just 2 Specs Focus Blasts. Like, that's just not happening. And then if I did go more Spadef, unfortunately, I would not be able to Ironhead Altaria. Basically, Ironhead allows me to 2-hit KO, or have a chance to 2-hit KO max HP Altaria, so that it can't just freely set up on my Adamant Incineroar. So, I mean, if he's defensive, then that's another issue entirely. But if he's just, like, slightly invested in HP, this will 2-hit KO. So basically, it just prevents Mega Altaria from setting up on my Incineroar. And finally, we have a modest Mega Pidgeot with Hurricane, U-turn, Heat Wave, and Roost. Just all the coverage I need for his team. Hurricane is very, very spammable against him. Really, he has nothing to switch in. I mean, Electivire, Assault Vest Electivire is good against me in terms of checking both my Tapu Koko and my Mega Pidgeot, but at the same time has to come in on rocks, has to take U-turn damage, has to take, like, Hurricane damage as it switches in. Then I will outspeed, get extra U-turn damage off on it. So basically, it just gets chipped down super, super quickly, and then Necrozma is able to come in and just heal right up on it. So I'm not worried about Electivire at all. Megapage is just able to spam Hurricane like crazy. Heat Wave is able to hit the Jirachi super effectively, and then U-turn is for Momentum and Hoopa, while Roost allows me to potentially just stall things out. I'm really not counting on it, but in case he brings something bulky like Cofagrigus or Avalugg or Xatu or Gothitelle or something like that, then I will just be able to roost those things out, so where they can't just, like, try to 3-hit KO me or something to that effect. The EVs are just enough speed to outspeed Rachi and then just hit hard, throw the rest into HP, but hit an odd HP number, so that Megapidge can be able to not take as much rocks when it comes in every single time. Now, I did say that the Noivern and Gothitelle were late pickups for A12. However, my team's actually really, really adept at handling Gothitelle. I mean, Noivern, that's a thing. Like, it's annoying, can definitely be a threat if I don't play well around it, but not as big of a threat as a potential trapping Gallade. But I mean, if you look at my team, Koko has U-turn. Incineroar and Megapidge both have U-turn. Gengar cannot be trapped because it's a ghost. Swampert has Roar to roar him out. So really the only thing that it can reliably trap is my Necrozma. Granted, if he does have Energy Ball, then he's able to trap and KO my Swampert. But everything else has ways out of Gothitelle, so I'm really not that worried about it. But again, that being said, if it's played well and I play poorly, it will be a gigantic threat. So yeah, that's the team. Hope you guys tune in on Wednesday for the battle, and that's going to be it. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And this is Styx signing out. Why not? See you guys.